What are Minecraft's best settings? Well, we're going to be going over that for vanilla Minecraft here. And I'm guessing you're on this video because you're interested in performance. If you're not, then we're going to be giving you kind of an overview of what every setting does, and you can kind of change that along the way to fit what you're looking for. However, if you are looking for performance, honestly, the video you're watching right now is not the best one. The best one is this one, linked in the description down below, which is how to make Minecraft less laggy. It has helped over 5,000 people, and it's because it's for the newest version of Minecraft. This mod pack and everything that we outline here has helped hundreds of thousands of people, and honestly, it's worth going and checking out because it can take your FPS and quadruple it if you set things up using what we do in this video. So if that's your goal, go check this out. Otherwise, we're going to be going over the basics, and this is all going to be done in vanilla Minecraft, meaning no mods, nothing like that. First things first, we're actually going to start in the Minecraft launcher here and go to installations. Then we want to go ahead and add some RAM. How do we do that? Well, we can click on the version we're going to be playing on, so it's going to be the latest release here, and then we click more options. Right here at the beginning is how much RAM is dedicated to Minecraft. By default, it's most likely this, XMX2G. It could also be 2000M. If it is 2000M, just go ahead and delete everything up to where it's XMX and then type in 4G. That's going to be 4 gigabytes of RAM dedicated to Minecraft. That's the maximum you're going to need for Minecraft, and generally most modern computers are going to be able to dedicate 4 gigabytes to Minecraft, but never dedicate more than half of your computer's RAM to the game. So if you only had 4 gigs of RAM, you would actually want to drop this down to 2G, 2 gigabytes, but most likely you've got enough RAM to do 4 gigabytes dedicated. We can then go ahead and click save there and play Minecraft using that installation, and the RAM will be upped, and we can really dive into settings. And while Minecraft is launching, how to best from our company, SimpleGameHosting. If you want to play Minecraft with your friends, you're going to need a Minecraft server, and the easiest way to get a Minecraft server is at the first link in the description down below, the breakdown.xyz/SGH. That will let you start your very own 24-hour DDoS Protected Minecraft server for you and your friends, where you can easily add mods, plugins, and mod packs to your server with one-click installation of hundreds of mod packs, and truly you can customize your server any way that you want. Let's say you customize your server, add a mod to it, and oh no, the server's not starting. What do you do? Well, don't worry. SimpleGameHosting has expert live chat support there to help you out and make sure that your server is back online after you've added mods or something like that that may have made it not start anymore. So go check out SimpleGameHosting at the first link in the description down below, the breakdown.xyz/SGH, and start your Minecraft server the simple way and start playing Minecraft with your friends after you get your great settings, of course. So to do that, we want to go to options here, and then FOV is something I wanted to quickly mention. It's not going to affect performance at all, but it's definitely going to change how Minecraft looks. It's going to basically make your field of view, what you see, wider or more shallow. You know, you can go all the way up to Quake Pro, it's going to be super wide. All the way down to 30, it's going to be super narrow. By default, it's right here in the middle at 70 or normal, and you can kind of play around with that as you want, depending on what you want out of Minecraft and what you want out of your FOV. It can really change the perspective. Then we want to go into resource packs here. This is another great way to optimize Minecraft and kind of make it look different. For the best FPS, though, you don't want to have any of these installed. So you would make sure that selected here just has default in it. But it's a great way to improve Minecraft, and there's a link to our guide on getting resource packs in the description. Nonetheless, from there we can go on to video settings, and this is where we're really going to be able to go over the best settings and make sure things are optimized for performance. Now, Biome Blend is great because it's blends biomes, right? It makes biomes blend together and makes Minecraft look more realistic and natural, but it also takes a lot of performance, so we want to turn that off. For graphics here, I have it set to fancy. That's going to give you the best like weather and clouds and particles and all that stuff and just look amazing. But if you want the best like graphics, that's going to be fast. Fabulous is also there, but I run a 4K display and it can sometimes have issues with that, so I always run on fancy. But if you want the best performance, that's going to be graphics fast here. For render distance, this is how far you can see in game. For the best performance, that needs to be set down to 2. This is one of the biggest performance impacts that you can make. A lot of times you can play at 12 on most computers without issue, and obviously you can turn it up to 32 if you really want to go crazy. I'm actually going to go ahead and set this to 12 here. Simulation distance is how long things around you are simulated and what radius that is. So the higher this is means the more stuff your Minecraft's going to have to do. I'd recommend turning this down to 5 for performance, and if you really want to like have a ton of simulation distance and never see like anything frozen or anything like that, you could turn it up to 32, but that is crazy. We're going to turn this down to 5 here. For chunk splitter, we actually want to go ahead and go to threaded, and that basically means that nearby chunks are compared parallel threads, and it may result in some visual holes and stuff, but usually means more FPS. So we're going to go ahead and do it that. If you want the best experience, we're going to do fully blocking. That's going to be the best experience, but we're going to do semi-blocking for the best FPS. Smooth lighting, smooth out lighting in Minecraft, we're going to turn that off. Frame rate, we're actually going to set this to unlimited just because I'm curious what we can get with these settings in game as far as frame rate goes. But remember, you don't need 120 FPS or 200 FPS or even 90 or 60 FPS. Minecraft's very playable at 30 FPS. So if you have a horrible computer, getting 30 FPS is absolutely incredible. Do not stress about getting more FPS than that because that's all you really need. Now, I have a really high computer, and I'm curious what we can kind of crank out of this, so we're going to go ahead and do unlimited. VSync, turn that off because that's going to limit your FPS to your monitor FPS. However, that can be good if you are, not trying to get as much FPS as possible, but we are, so we're going to leave that off. Otherwise, I would turn that on. Reduce FPS when AFK or when you are minimized. I would recommend AFK. That means if you're just kind of sitting there and after 10 minutes or so, it's going to lower your FPS and make Minecraft kind of a background task. GUI scale just changes how large this all is and really doesn't affect performance at all, but you can kind of set it to what you want. 4 is typically what I go with. Crosshair indicator, again, it's not going to matter anything, whether you want the indicator off, whether you want it to be the crosshair or the hotbar. I leave it as the crosshair, but again, that's not going to affect performance. Same thing with brightness. I always turn it all the way up because that is just what I like, but you can set it to whatever your preference is. Clouds, if you want performance, we're going to turn those off. If you want things to look good, we're going to turn them to fancy. Full screen. I recommend not playing Minecraft in full screen for the best performance. So that means you want full screen set to off here. That's why I didn't mention full screen resolution up at the top. But if you do want to play Minecraft full screen, you can actually lower your full screen resolution to lower than what your monitor's resolution is, and that will increase performance. So I have a 4K monitor. That means it would be 3840 by 2160. However, if I lowered this to 1920 by 1080, even though I have a 4K monitor, Minecraft's not going to be playing at 4K. Meaning I'm going to get better FPS while playing. For map levels, for the best performance, we want to turn those off. I skipped particles here by accident. We want to turn those to decreased. And then for entity shadows, we want to turn those off. Doing the reverse of all that, turning map levels all the way on, particles to everything, and entity shadows to on is what's going to give you the best look in Minecraft Vanilla, but this is again for performance. Distortion effects really doesn't affect performance. Same thing for FOV effects. Entity distance does affect performance quite a bit, and I'd recommend turning that down all the way. That's how far away entities are loading. If you want like a crazy long entity distance of 500, that means zombies can come from a long way. You're going to have a lot more ambiance, a lot more mobs in the world, but it will cause a lot more lag. So turning that all the way down is the best. Autosave indicator doesn't matter. Glint strength also doesn't matter, and neither does the glint speed really. However, menu background blur is also personal preference. You can see you can blur it a lot or blur it not at all. I always leave mine right in the middle, and view bobbing doesn't affect performance. So that's kind of the overview of the Minecraft video settings to give you the best performance. And again, you can go through and change those however you want. There are a lot of other settings here in Minecraft though, and a lot of times they aren't talked about. If you want to change your language, you can do that there. You got your telemetry data. I've never really used this, but it is kind of cool to be able to see all the different stuff that can be seen there. We have the accessibility settings, which are great if you have different things like color blindness or all sorts of different things that you can go in here and select. Hold sprint or toggle sprint, hold sneak or toggle sneak is actually a really cool thing that I would recommend checking out no matter what. You can also turn view bobbing off and on here as well as in video settings. All of that stuff. If you are seizure risk, you can turn off, lightning flashes. Amazing that this is all here and we're checking out no matter what. And then we can also go into the chat settings. One of the things that's often is if you turn chats off or to hidden, you can't talk in game, all of that stuff. You want to make sure that's shown, otherwise you might be on a server and not be able to talk, and if you run into that, that's why. And then we have controls. You can go in here and change all of your different keybinds and all of that stuff, but again, that's not necessarily what we're doing here. I just wanted to kind of go over these quickly. Music, obviously you can change all your volume settings. Pretty much everything's personal preference, though, along these lines, and I just wanted to kind of explain what all these video settings do, because, what's Chunk Builder, right? What is all of that? But nevertheless, what are we getting in-game? Well, let's go ahead and jump on a SimpleGameHosting server and check it out. So once we're in-game here, we will be able to press F3 on our keyboard, and it will pull this up. Now, by default, I'm getting about, 150. It's growing, 400 FPS, 450 FPS in vanilla Minecraft. That's pretty good. And you can see your FPS here in the top left. It's going to be very fluctuating, right? There's going to be very high and very lows because it is vanilla Minecraft. Now, what I mentioned at the beginning, which is the how to fix lag using our mod pack Notifine as well as Sodium and all that stuff, that is going to be able to smooth the FPS out, so you're going to have less of that fluctuation, and I've been able to get 400 FPS while running shaders, right? So higher render distance, better looking, all that stuff, but overall this is great. This is at a 12 render distance too, so very playable, but your results will vary depending on your computer. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more incredible content every single day of the week. We'll see you in the next video, and I'm out. Peace.